here. Welcome back to the channel where we give you world-class videos on how to remodel your houses, your kitchens, your bathrooms. We cover flooring, tool reviews, and repairs. And so today, because you and I are all stuck at home here with stay-at-home orders and quarantines, and all due to the coronavirus pandemic here, I thought today we would do something a little bit different here. We will do a different type of repair here. Now that you're stuck at home and maybe you've pulled out your bike and decided, hey, let's get some exercise, maybe you found some things wrong here, some noises and stuff that it's making, and I wanted to show you some common repair mistakes that people make when they're working on their bike or cleaning the chain and all that kind of stuff here. So it's funny how life throws these little curveballs at you, and there's expectations versus reality. So here you thought, well, hey, maybe I'll go out on a nice bike ride with a group of friends. Well, you can't really do that. And in some cities, you might even get in trouble if you go outside on a bike ride. So here we thought we were going to take a nice long ride out on a country road somewhere and enjoy the scenery there. But you pull the bike out and you realize, oh, this chain's making all sorts of noises. We can't tell what's going on with the bike here. We're going to walk along here with it, and let's just watch what the chain does. Do you hear that little clicking it did for a second there? Like the chain was bouncing. See that? You see how it like stopped? The chain kind of stumbled for a second there. It's almost like a heartbeat, skipping a beat. You can hear that noise. And if you take it out like it is now, and it breaks down on you, man, you're going to be having a nice long walk back home, folks. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Okay, now if you don't have a bike stand or anything to put it up on, this is a great tool. I love this thing. So this is my DeWalt folding workstation table here. And I just love this thing because it assembles so quickly. And it just so happens to have this little handle that sticks out here on the side like this. And we're going to rest the bike right on here. Okay, so let's bring the patient over here. And we'll lift it up and just set it right up here on the handles. Now the front wheel's still going to touch. So if you want, you can stack up a 2x6 board here or something, or you can even jack up the table a little bit on blocks. It doesn't really matter. All I care about is that the rear end of it is floating off the floor here so that we can rotate the pedals here and spin the chain. Allen wrench here. Now there's a number of areas along the bottom of the bike here, or even the middle of the bike. People like to check when there's noises like clinkety clanks and stuff like that, and clicking from your chain. The most common areas that are the easiest ones to do first would be, you see all of these screws here on the ring? So this is on the chain ring. What you do is you take a 5mm Allen wrench here, upper part there, you just check and make sure that all of these are tight. And I already know because we've already checked, but you just put it in every one of these and make sure that they're all tight. Sometimes on occasion, somebody will have one that's loose, and that can be causing problems for you as well. Another thing that people like to check here, now many people have a hard time isolating if the sound is coming from the bottom bracket here or if it's coming from the back here where the cassette is, and also the derailleur. Other things people do too is they can adjust this right here. I want you to check your chain and see if it's rubbing up against this little part of the bracket here. And if it is, you can adjust that in and out here by adjusting the set screws over here. And then the hardest part here is, hey, what if something is wrong here with your pedals and the axle right here? Well, if you have to do that, chances are you're going to need a puller tool, which you probably don't have. And if it's anything to deal with this here or removing the pedals, you might want to take it to your bike shop. Now, you can try to remove the pedals yourself. If you've never done it before and you're a little leery, there's a huge danger of hitting your hand against the chain, so I would highly advise you wear gloves. But even then, it's still really tough to get the pedals off. And so you might want to leave that or anything dealing with the axle to the bike shop. Okay, the other thing people do is they like to, what we're going to do here today is clean everything off here with soap and water and degrease and get all of the gunk that's collected up in the, wherever there's anything moving here. And then when you're done, relubricate. So that includes the pulley wheels here on the derailleur, both of them, get them nice and clean. And that also involves cleaning the cassette. Some people prefer to take the entire wheel off to do it. Want to see if we can do it with the wheel on without having to take it on, with the brake pads rubbing up against the wheel. Some people have an actual problem with the cassette, like something's wrong in here, or with the axle inside the wheel, and that might have to be looked at, removed, and lubricated, or even the axle replaced. Sometimes on the derailleur, you get enough accumulated grease and dirt on these pulley wheels here, and they'll start skipping on the chain here, and they won't be able to grip the chain and move it along, and you'll lose tension as well. So those are things to check. Other areas to check here will be where the handlebars are. The stem is, some people will pop the handlebars and pull out the stem there and relubricate it, you know, this joint here. Other people here will pop the seat, clean everything off there on the stem there, and relubricate. Okay, so here's your chain here. Some people want to clean out both ends of the bearing and where the pedals are, where they crank. You have them moving here like this. So they'll clean that out really good, and they'll relubricate those connections there. And I can tell you folks that 99% of us do not know the proper way to clean and lubricate our chain. Many people make the number one mistake, I think, on bike maintenance is putting oil on top of old oil. Just lubricating on top of old, ugly, nasty, dirty, pasty grease. And that is the worst thing you can do. You always have to clean the chain, strip it completely of the lubrication, make sure it's nice and clean, and then put on new lubrication. And then when you're done putting on the lubrication, the other thing that people fail to do is to wipe it off of the chain, because once you've put the lubrication on there and you've applied it to all of these chain links here, it's already gotten inside the chain link. It doesn't need to go anywhere else. There's no reason to have it on the outside. So you can take a cloth and just spin it around there and wipe it off. Okay, so I'll bring the microphone closer here so you can hear the clank when it does it. Hear that? There it is again. And see how it moved the cassette? Now normally the cassette moves like this when you pedal it, right? But watch when the wheel is spinning. See how it's kind of jiggling around? Now it starts to move the chain all of a sudden. Okay, but what we do know is it's really dirty down in there in between the gears. If you look down here, the derailleur is all filthy. Take a look at the chain. It's all black and dirty and gritty and dirty down here and all gooked up and everything. The bottle holder here is in desperate need of being cleaned. Front of the derailleur is all filthy. Both of the pulleys are filthy. Using the WD-40 degreaser here. You can use any type you want. I like this because it just goes on in a nice thick foam and it stays there on the chains and it penetrates into the cogs and the gears and everything, and it just hangs on there for some dwell time for a couple of minutes before you rinse it off. Okay, so we're just going to go around the gears and everywhere. I'm going to try to get some on the chain here too, and all the cogs, all over the derailleur, the wheels, everything. Okay, so we're doing this over the street here, and you can see it's dripping down here, and it's going to get rinsed off and soaped down and everything afterwards. But just make sure you don't do it over a spot that's very sensitive for you, like the garage floor or something. Or you could also put a cardboard down or to catch most of the dripping. Okay, now I'm going to use my brush here. So this is specifically made for doing this. I like to use this end of it also to get in here and scrub all of these little in between here, all of the little spaces in between the gears, and you can go underneath it as well. Go like that. And you also use the brush side here and go like this here. So we're going to spray another round of foam in there, and we're going to rotate that all the way around and make sure we scrub all of it. Now, one thing I notice right off the bat is if I look right in here and in here, these two are blue. These are black here, but these are blue, and you can actually see the blue again, which we haven't seen before because it was so dirty. All right, so we're going to use this tool next. Now, this is a clever little tool here. This is what we call a chain scrubber. So this is a Cyclone. This is made by Park Tool, and we love using this thing too. See, then the top comes off. Then you fill this reservoir up here, up to the line right there. See, that's the fill line. Fill it up, and then you stick this under the chain, and the top part goes over the chain, and you get hundreds and hundreds of brush bristles here that are making contact with and scrubbing the chain, because just because we sprayed a bunch of foam on there doesn't mean that that's going to clean the chain off. This will scrub the chain off thoroughly. So everybody has their own favorite product that they want to use. I like to use the Amway LOC. It's a liquid organic cleaner, and it's safe for the environment, and it'll clean and do everything you need it to do. You don't need to put kerosene or gasoline or things in that other people like to do. Some people think you need to take the chain off, soak it overnight in gasoline, and then scrub it. That's fine for them. For you, you don't really need to. All you need is this tool here. That's really all the average person needs to do. I happen to be an Amway distributor as well, so I'll put a link in the video description down below for you to our Amway store so that you can also go and buy some. So what I do here with the LOC is I mix it 3-to-1. So I've already mixed it into the sprayer. I'm just going to dump some out of my sprayer in here and fill that up to the fill line right there. And by the way, if you were thinking of putting gasoline or kerosene or any of that, don't, because the manufacturer of this Park Tool specifically tells you in the instructions not to put any petrol products in there. Okay, so here's the way it works. You come up from underneath with the bottom part. See how the chain's going to go in between the slot and the sponge there? So let's push the chain down there into the bushes, and let's push the chain down into the sponge there. Put the top on. You secure the clips in both directions there. All right, so there it is in position there. And all you do is you hold it by the handle there. You see the fluid's all in there and ready to go. Now you just go backwards here. You pedal backwards, and they want you to do at least 30 cranks on this thing here. So all of those brushes are slowly scrubbing away on the chain there as you backpedal it. Now this is a much better way to do it, because then all of the cleaner and everything is just kept inside the unit, and you can safely dump it in a responsible manner here. So I'm just keep on going, and I can see the water in there slowly turning dark, so I know that it's working and scrubbing all of the parts of the chain here and getting it nice and clean. It does feel really smooth too. So it feels like the chain, it doesn't have as much friction as it had before. So now that I'm done here, as you look here, look down the entire length of the chain, you can see the Amway LOC suds that are all over the chain. All right, so now we're ready to undo it. So again, you flip the clip on the right side, then you come over here to the left side and you flip the left clip, and the top comes off, and you remove the apparatus from the chain, and we're going to rinse this all off. All right, now as I hold it up to the sky there, look how dark the liquid is on the bottom. See that? It's almost black. Okay, so now just like this is my bucket that I use for doing car washes, and I have my big brush here, and we have the grit guards in there, as you can see. And what the grit guards allow you to do is, if you're using either your glove or the brushes, you rub the brushes or the glove down the washboard here, or right directly onto the grit guard, see, and it takes all of the dirt off of it, and the dirt sinks to the bottom, so that when you come back up and go and wipe some more onto the car or the bike, you're leaving the dirt behind, and the dirt stays on the bottom. It floats at the bottom below these grit guards. These are great. These are the best things in the world. I'll put links to all of this down in the video description below for you, so you can check it out. These are our affiliate links to Amazon. Okay, now we also could have just washed the bike ahead of time. That's fine too. We were under certain constraints here because of logistics and trying to shoot this video and fighting the time of day, that we wanted to make sure we got the chain and everything cleaned off and recorded on video first. Okay, so next we're going to take a cloth and dry all of this off, because before you lubricate it, you can't have any water on it. It has to be nice and dry. Now if you look at the chain here, you can see that it's gotten quite a bit of its original shiny silver luster back here. So most people think your bicycle chain is supposed to be black and that you're supposed to dump all of this oil and grease on it, but that's really not the case, because it really only needs it where the bearings are, There's no reason for it to be all caked with black grease and everything. And just look at the cogs here, they're nice and clean also. We even used the brush that I showed you to clean off the pulleys here on the derailleur. The pulleys are actually nice and shiny now. They were black when we first started. If you remember, when we first brought the bike out to clean it, both of these pulleys were pitch black with gook and grime and dirt. Okay, so now while the bike is drying, I'm going to show you, this is the lube that we're going to use. Now, before all you esoteric people out there start going, oh, you can't use that, that's WD-40, what are you, a loser, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? It's WD-40 made for a bike. This is a specific lubrication that they formulated for bike chains here. And this one here says all conditions lube, so you can use it on any conditions, whether you're dry out in the desert or out in the rain. And this here also has Teflon in it, which a lot of people prefer to have Teflon in there as a means of lubrication and protecting the chain rather than grease. Some people prefer to use grease, which is fine. Some people prefer drops of oil, which is fine. Some people want a dry film technology. That's fine too. The drier film ones, you end up having to do it more often, but so what? I mean, how much does the average person really need to go all full out esoteric and do all these fancy things that the racers do? You don't really need to. As long as it's lubed up and it's working fine for you, who cares? So the other reason why we tried this WD-40 here is because it got quite a few good reviews, so we thought we'd try it out here and see how it works here. So we will also place our affiliate links to Amazon for this down in the description for you. It's pretty hard to find this in the stores. There are very few stores that sell it. So I'll just go backwards with the chain here and slowly spray it. So remember, this is only for the chain. You do not use this lubricant on anything else. So now that you've lubricated the chain, you let it sit for about a minute. Okay, and just remember to lubricate all these other parts too, and use the lubricant that your bike manufacturer recommends. You have to go to their website, maybe check the owner's manual, but I like to go to their website and look at what the current maintenance procedures are, because sometimes things change over the years too. So anyway, if you found this video useful, hey, we'd appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up down below. That tells us that you like us. And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, man, why haven't you? Hey, make sure you click on that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss a single one of our how-to videos. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Hey, stay home, stay safe, pray for the ones that didn't make it, and hopefully we'll all come through on the other side intact and with our health. Thank you for joining us this week, folks, and we will see you on the next one.